Hi, welcome back to a new video. This is the intro to what was supposed to be a kit comparison. Sadly, not. It was more sort of just showing two different kits, not really comparison in the normal sense of the word. But yeah, hopefully I can get a proper kit comparison later on down the line. Mainly because the mannequins I've got two, but I've only got one stand, so I can't really. I don't really have anything out of the space really to sort of someone next to each other, and then have the camera positioned as well. So that's a bit of a pain, I know. So I've got to do one at a time really, and I don't really have the skill to do sort of fancy editing and all that sort of stuff to make it side by side and all that sort of stuff. But apart from that, I hope you enjoy the video, and I'll see you at the end. Hi guys, welcome back to another video. Today we'll be doing a little bit of slight comparison between two kits. The other one isn't as fleshed out as I like it to be, and there's some bits I do want to change in the future and upgrade. But some of the bits are stand-ins for others. They're what they're supposed to be in a way, but they're not of the quality I would normally like. But it's what I could get in a short period of time, and obviously with fund constraints, and obviously with the lockdown, other things are a bit more difficult to get at the moment, so bear in mind all that. But apart from that, most of the things are fairly high quality, and some bits are original, especially with the British side. So today we'll be doing a kit comparison between British kits late war, so D-Day onwards, and obviously German kit, slightly more specialised, but round about roughly what most German soldiers would be carrying of that period. So to get started, we'll be focusing first on the British kit. You would have seen this battle dress and things like this before, and this is my economy pattern battle dress, exposed buttons, etc. And now I have all the insignia on it at the minute, which is good. So compared to the last time you saw it. So as set up for Normandy, 6th of June and then onwards. So we have the Mark II steel helmet on top with discriminating, etc. It was depending on the unit who got the Mark III. First Battalion, the Hampshire Regiment, which is being portrayed here, were not issued it at this point. They did start trickling in some Mark IIIs later on in 44, and then into the 45 campaign and the crossing of the Rhine, mainly with 2nd Battalion, I should say, when it comes to the Hampshires. 1st Battalion was pulled out in December back to England, and to be because it was exhausted basically. But 2nd Battalion eventually started trickling in those helmets as well. Moving down, as I said, the main battle dress. Across this strap here leads to a map case. This being representative of a company sergeant major. Generally, normally you'd be carrying some sort of map, etc. So that is represented by the map case. Across this side is the strap for the respirator Harrow Sack, which is held on the left hip next to the bayonet. Across this side is the strap for the bandolier, carrying 50 rounds of 303 ball ammunition. Moving down, we have the main 37 pattern belt, obviously with the 37 pattern pouches. These are Mark IIs. So let me just sort that out. These are Mark IIs, and obviously you'll be carrying roughly 2 Bren magazines, maybe a bandolier, another 50 rounds, etc. or so, and a couple of Mills grenades, or depending on what you were, what part of the section you were. If you were part of the 2-inch mortar team, etc., you might be carrying some more mortar bombs, etc. Depending on what your role was within the section, or larger entity in that way. Obviously, you could see the L straps of the small pack, or sorry, Harrow Sack, I should say, buckles, etc. And then beneath this is the collarless shirt. Okay, if you can see on the sleeves here, you have the Company Sergeant Major rank insignia, which is the laurel wreath within around the crown. I think it's the St Edward's crown, more colloquially known as the King's crown, basically, because it's a more sort of narrowed down top to it rather than the more larger imperial crown of the Queen's, colloquially known Queen's crown. So these are both one on each arm. These are both original. On the shoulder we have the Hampshire Regiment shoulder titles, etc. I'll show them in more detail when I turn it around. Obviously this setup with 303 ammunition on the bandolier, being riflemen carrying rifles, so the 303 Lee Enfield rifle number 4. So I'll just bring this up. So this one is a Savage made one, so made in the United States, of the sort of slightly earlier type with the sight, but with the later type for the bolt removal system, basically. Because in the earlier, so this is sort of a cross between a Mark 1 and a Mark 1 Star. It's sort of a weird sort of cross between, because with the earlier ladder dial sight and then the later disassembly system. But yeah, I've shown the earlier type in the video before with my rifle number 1 Mark 3, that's what it was later known as. Lovely rifle. I prefer the other one, to be honest with you. I do like the weight of this one though, but just how I really sort of around with things. But no, it's a lovely piece of kit, and as many of you know, if you're watching these videos, you probably would know, the rifle in many forms served the British Army through well over half a century. It wasn't properly phased out in general service until the very late 50s and even into the 60s. It's still seen in training and in exercise, because obviously the self-loading rifle was still being phased in, and obviously cadet units were being we're using this, or even the 2.2 version, well into the 80s and 90s. So yeah, great bit of kit and fabulous rifle. So I'll quickly stop here and I'll turn the mannequin around, and then we can have a look at the other side. Okay, now we've got the other side shown. So as you can see, obviously, as I said about the cuff, rank title, or rank insignia, and obviously the shoulder titles, etc. So I believe the order was the AOC 1943, or basically of June 1943. Order was to replace the usual gold on black shoulder titles of the Hampshire Regiment, were to be replaced by this simpler title of just Hampshire, to more in line with the rest of the regiments of 50th Division, which they were at this point. Basically just to make it more uniform. The gold on black shoulder titles were more not unregulated, I should say. They're more sort of a regimental thing rather than actually sort of kind of really loud in a way. It's a weird mixture of things, but this was the standard show title at the time for the regiment. Below that is the divisional insignia of TT, which I think I've explained before, of the 50th Northumbrian Division. So T&T for the Tyne Tees rivers, and obviously on its side it makes a H, meaning the Humber as well. Below that is the arms of service, denoting seniority within the division, I believe. There's a bit of confusion over how many they were, how many were being worn during the invasion. Information I can find, it was 1 if they were being worn. Some information there's 3. They were wearing 3 of them, so it's a bit of a. But as far as I'm aware, they were one of the senior regiments within the brigade and within the division, so it would have been 1. From the photos I can find that they are being worn, it's normally one. So, but yeah, so that's the arms of service. I'll just lift the arm up here. Oh, whoops daisy. It's falling on me. So below here we have the respirator Harrow Sack for the lightweight respirator, and the Bayonet, which is the number 4 spike bayonet. Obviously this would change it. This is the Mark II. There was the Mark II Star, and there was another one. So this is the Mark II. The Mark II Star was basically this fixture, but with the nail spike welded to the point. This one is it's a single piece, as far as I can see. And then there was another one which was much more crudely made version as well. So there are many different types. The first pattern one was a cruciform style of bayonet, very, very difficult to make, but a very, very nice example. But they were quite brittle apparently, so but they were very short lived and they were very difficult to make. As I said, the haversack, and you can see the belt, and then the L straps for the haversack going through here. As you can see, the haversack here rolled up is a ground sheet. This is a later style one, generally because it's what I could get. I have tried to get ground sheets from other places, but they're either sold out or they're not as high quality as I would like. So I've standard in a later style. This is mainly sort of a 44 pattern, issue with the 44 pattern kit generally, but it stands well and does the job well basically. But that's a standard at the moment, so that's one of the things which I am doing. But it is an original example though. So yeah, as you can see from the side here, you can see the gas cape, which is rolled up and fixed to the belt, and obviously the entrenching tool and carrier there. Yeah, so I'll pause here and we'll swing around and we'll look at the back. Okay, now we're looking at the back. As you can see, the haversack in all its glory. It does seem slightly leaning towards us because just the way it's sitting on the thing. Let me actually push it up. Actually, there we go. Sorry, it's just the weight on the pintle itself. Whoops, it is. So here you can see the haversack, obviously the ground sheet, as I explained. Well, it's sort of ground sheet, rain cape really. Tin mug. This is the brown version, which is in this case has been attached to the one of the fastening straps on the haversack. In the haversack, obviously usual items, spare socks, a cap comforter in there. The pullover cardigan is in there, mess tins and wash roll, etc. and essentials like that. Nothing too fancy, and maybe some other little personal effects in that, etc. As I said, brown tin mug. As I explained before, below that is the gas cape rolled up, fastened to the belt. So with the tapes, I've gone round, over and under with one, and over and so under and over with one, and then over and under with the other, and then crossed over and then tied it off at the top. And then going down again, as I explained before, with the entrenching tool and cover. In here is the entrenching tool head, and obviously I've put boot brush and boot polish in there as well to keep it sort of in there, so it's easy to get to if need be. There's some information that this was done or not. I've done it because it's ease that it's there. I don't have to put it in here, and it doesn't get anything in here dirty if it leaks. Because if boot polish gets on anything, it's a pain to get it off. So it's in there, keeps it out of the way, and keeps it easy to hand really if I ever need it. Really, so it's quite a nice little place to put it, and it equals out everything there. You can see from the side profile of the map case, and then the rest of the right side of the mannequin. Okay, so I'll stop here, and then we'll go around to the other side, and then we'll finish off this, and then we'll go on to the next one after this. Okay, now we're looking at the right side of our Sergeant Major. and I'll just lift the arm up here. As you can see, exactly the same as the other side. Again, if there's anything I've missed, please let me know. I'm happy to learn. I'm not a plethora of information by no means whatsoever. I need help on a lot of things, especially with historical kit. All the time, it's always good to learn, always good to widen your information. So yeah, and any additions like Insignia in that, just let me know. But yeah, so I'll just lift the arm here. As you can see, the map case, as I explained earlier. This is of the I think the earlier type, I believe, which was the cover on, which was fastened by press studs. If I just lift it up here, so fastened by press studs, which you lift up and lift over. Excuse me, and then you have your map underneath, and on this side, you have your pockets for your pencils, etc., and writing equipment. And the dates on the inside, I think the date's 1942 on this example, for example. Lift it up here. Here you see the water bottle and carrier. This is the latest sleeve type, well, sort of early mid-war, something like that. So around about 1941, 42, I think these ones came in, I believe. I'm not sure. And obviously the later type water bottle with the green enamel rather than the blue, which was on the earlier types. These ones actually came around 1939. These ones, so fairly early on, but in the way of like certain things. But yeah, that's that there. Obviously the right side bread pouch, and obviously the cartridge carrier on of the bandolier itself. Okay, quick little note as well. I forgot to add at the start. In the front breast pockets, you have your paybook, anything sort of like that. Generally, you wouldn't have any letters in those during the invasion because they were told that you were told to burn them. But generally, you have your paybook, and little picture of that. I've got wallet in one side, and also with cigarette case in the other, because obviously they're going to want to have a smoke generally. If they are a smoker, that is. Which generally at that point, most guys were. It was a good way to calm nerves, as a lot of people would probably think to. Yeah. So that's that. Okay, so we'll go on to the next bit, and I'll bring the other mannequin over, and then we'll do some comparing. Okay, now we have the next mannequin up. As you can see, it's a final example of a German soldier. So obviously, if there's anything I have got wrong, please let me know. And no doubt I probably have, especially with German stuff. I'm still very, very new to the whole thing. There are some little bits I will have to change, and I am going to change, hopefully soon. But at the moment, this is what I have, and I wanted to make a comparison with what I had, which was still mostly some of the basics. So, especially within the Normandy campaign, German soldiers generally would fight light. They're mostly in defensive positions, so they were able to be quick and light, to go from sort of hedgerow to hedgerow in that sort of type of fighting within Normandy, which was brutal to say the least. It was more akin to the Great War, with the closeness and the ferocity, and the casualties were something like seen from the Somme. So yeah, so sorry, excuse me. Starting from the top, we have the Bergmünzer, which basically this is an M43 field cap, known as the Bergmünzer. Forgive me for murdering of that pronunciation. This is up as a example of someone who's a Gebirgsjäger. So Gebirgsjäger were German mountain troops. There was mainly Heer, so German army Gebirgsjäger, and there was also an SS division, I believe, as well, or regiment. Forgive me. So yeah, so starting at the top, so the Bergmünz. On the side, we have the Edelweiss, which was the emblem for the Gebirgsjäger. This is the latest style, so I will have to change this. The proper Second World War style does not have this stem going downwards towards the end. It's just more straight, so I will have to change that. But it's a good stand-in for the time being. There are a pair of American ski goggles on here at the moment, which to honest with you are fairly good because so a lot of the items, especially Gaboche would buy, would get I should say, would be sort of private purchase items, so or stuff they picked up from elsewhere. So this pair, these are standing for sort of German or even Swiss or in another country. They had a plethora of different equipment regarding with ski equipment, etc. But yeah, quite sort of a iconic feature of the Gaboche at that point. On the cap is the triangular version of the insignia. So the German Reich Eagle on the Wehrmacht emblem. On the other side, this is an addition I put on myself. It's not exactly correct, but it's just there to sort of say this. Give another example. On the other side, which normally would be on the other side of the cap where the normal Edelweiss is the oak leaves. These are generally I believe, more of a symbol of the Austrian Geburtsjäger, I believe. Forgive me if I'm wrong, or correct me if I'm wrong, but that's what I believe. That's what I've been told apparently, but I may be wrong. Going down, we have standard. This is the M40 shirt, I believe. As far as I remember, this was quite a few years ago. I bought some of this stuff. So M43 shirt. Not the most comfortable. I would prefer maybe a more standard sort of light cotton shirt, which will replace this. And this one's getting a little bit small for me now as well. But standard shirt. And there were different undergarments worn by troops, different troops. The SS tended to go for more of a browner shirt, which obviously from their SA days. This is a sort of a standard sort of stone grey. There were lighter cotton, and especially with Geburtsjäger, they had a tendency to wear more civilian style shirts. I can't remember the actual German word for it. I will inform you guys if I put it down in the in the description if I get the actual term. On top of that is the M40 field blouse, or field blouse, pronunciation wise. I will, when all this is over, when I've gone around here, I'll cut away and come back with the smock off so you can see underneath and what the field blouse looks like, and also with any decorations on there as well. So yeah, M40 field blouse, German, obviously stones, grey. Some of the early ones were more of sort of a dark green sort of colour, depending. The M36, which is the earliest style of field blouse, had a bottle green collar, and other different sort of aspects. This one on the collar we have the Litzen, with the bottle green backing to it. This is more of an earlier style of Litzen, later replaced by a more sort of thinner, just either cloth style, which was more seen later in the war. But this is sort of showing a soldier who's seen action early in the war and then gone the way through. On top of the field blouse is the smock. This is sort of known as the marsh or tan and water type of pattern. It is reversible as well, so it's sort of like it is white on the inside, so it can be used in snow conditions or winter conditions as well. So that's on top. That gives you good camouflage and concealment, but also a wind and partly waterproof. Well, not waterproof, but also water resistant protection as well. But I would say much more sort of windproof than anything else, and very, very good concealment within, say, Normandy as well, especially during wet weather. This was perfect, I would say, more so than some of the other ones you see, say, like the splinter camo you sometimes see, which I'll show you example on the helmet. Geburtsjäger did carry helmets, but they weren't seen wearing them as much, say, as regular troops or even the SS, or the Waffen SS, I should say. But compared to sort of standard troops, obviously some things were different, which I'll go into in a second. Going down from there, we have the strap here of the gas canister, gas mask canister. Unlike with British troops, etc., who tended, especially with after Normandy, tended to ditch their respirators fairly soon after the invasion. Not all, but some did. Well, a lot did. German troops would be penalised for any loss of equipment. So, no matter what you're doing and where you were in the war, every German soldier carried a gas mask. Everyone, or they had to at least. And if they didn't, there'd be a price to pay. Literally within monetary value. Going down from there, you see the two magazine pouches. These each carry 3 magazines for the MP40 or MP38, the earlier style. They're leather and canvas construction. This is one of the items which I will be changing very, very soon, I hope, and will be getting rid of because they're much more of a cheaper quality than I would like. For the price I paid for them, I thought they would be at least better, but can't have everything. That's what happens when you buy off the internet. You don't know always what you're getting. I always would suggest buy in person, or you might have to spend a little bit more money, but this is what I could get at the time, and that's what I had to go for. Fastening that to keep it upright is a bread bag strap. Now, Gebirgsjäger did not wear white straps. They did not. Some people may say, "Oh, I have these pictures." Generally, there's about 7 pictures out there, 5 of which or whatever are of the same guy. And excuse me. And generally, they didn't wear them. The only Gebirgsjäger who'll be wearing them are those who are working with heavy weapons or things to that nature, that they would need the white straps to carry heavy kit. Most Gebirgsjäger would have a rucksack, so anything they could carry would be in the rucksack or in the bread bag or to that nature. So they would not need white straps. They never needed them. So that is in place of that they would use things like bread bag straps and other items to keep, say, things up more upright. Or generally you have the hanger hooks, which are either sewn in or with hanger hook tapes inside of your field blouse, which I will show in a minute actually. Across the chest we have the MP40, which obviously is the weapon for this gentleman. 32 round box magazine. Generally maybe 30 rounds in the magazine to stop to minimise any stoppages or anything like that. I have taped these 2 magazines together. Probably not done, but it might have been. You never know, considering electrical tape had been around since the early 30s, I believe. So that's keeping that together. But it's a bit of a Farbyism, don't get me wrong, but mainly because this is an airsoft replica, so that's in place for that. So mind the Farbiness of that. So I'll quickly just lift up the MP40. Oh, whoops, it is. He's spinning around. Whoops, it is. As you can see underneath is the standard belts for the Wehrmacht, the German army. Different designs for different branches. So SS had a different one. The Luftwaffe and the Kriegsmarine all had different style of belts. This says Gott mit uns, God is with us. And then obviously the German eagle on top of the swastika in the middle. And it's like a hook clasp fitting on there, so that's that. There we go. Okay, so I'll pause here and we'll spin it around to the side and then we'll catch up when we come round. Okay, thank you for joining me back. Okay, now we're back and looking at the other side. As you can see from this side, again, I'm really, really sorry about the wonkiness of the thing. It's just because the weight offset really. they generally, these tend to hang quite sort of heavily to the that sort of side, to the right side. So yeah, so I just lift the arm out of the way. See the magazine pouch on this side, with the pouch for the loading tool for the MP40 magazines. It's having loaded MP40 magazines before by hand. They are a bit of a pain, and the loading tool does help a lot. Just getting them seated in properly as well. And then you can see from the side the straps coming down to the gas mask canister. I don't have a gas mask in here at the moment. I will be getting one hopefully soon. But getting ones is a bit pricey, and repro gas mask canisters don't generally tend to come with a gas mask in them. I find that they need to have one in, especially if you're doing reenactment. Generally, to have one in it is better than not. Otherwise, it's just an empty can rattling around all the time. So, and it's good to have the weight there as well, so you know what it's like to carry as well. I always find. So yeah, as you can just see, maybe just from behind, you have the side of the bread bag with the canteen and mess kit, which I will show in a second once I spin this round, and we'll get that shown. Okay, now looking at the rear. As you can see, the full length of the gas mask canister, and then we have the bread bag and the water bottle and mess kit. So the way it sort of all attaches seems a bit confusing. German kit is generally a whole quagmire of things, really. But in general, gas mask canister, strap across the shoulder. Strap across the shoulder. The other strap has a hook, which generally goes under the belt and hooks over. I've swooped it round over and hooked it underneath, generally to keep it more tight and upright to the body, otherwise it sags down quite a lot. This has been done before. I think I have seen 1 or 2 pictures of this been done, but generally that's how I've done it to keep it up, more upright. The bread bag is connected by 2 loop straps with buttons, and then a hook strap as well that comes over. You just see it underneath and hooks over the belt with that. Attached to the bread bag itself is the mess kit, so you would carry your food and that, or anything really like that, in here if need be. That is attached to the bread bag by 1 single leather strap with a buckle that links through a D-ring here. If you could just see about D-ring there, and then there's a leather tab which is sewn onto the bag and flap itself, which that then loops through as well. Similar deal with the water bottle. There's a clip that attaches the water bottle to the D-ring here, and then there's a strap that goes through and attaches, so like a little stud here at the bottom that connects to a leather tab right there. I've looped the top of the strap through the D-ring as well, only to stop it from sagging more down to the side. There's nothing really to see on this side, so I won't thing around to there. But generally inside the bread bag though, you carry spare socks, some other little items, personal items, effects if you wish. Generally it was called the bread bag, but not 9 times out of 10 you wouldn't really be carrying bread in it, depending if you even got it really. You would have, say, your butter dish tin maybe in there, your rifle cleaning kit, if you were carrying one of those. I think generally every band was issued a rifle cleaning kit, even if they issued a MP40 or other item or other weapon or something like that. So yeah, so any little personal items, etc. Gebirgsjäger, different sort of items may vary. So yeah, so I'll cut here, I'll spin it round, and I'll take off the smock, and I'll show you the field blouse underneath. Welcome back. Now I have the smock off. I can show you some other little details on the actual field blouse itself. So I have some notes with me. Generally for the medals and awards, etc. Because scenes can get a little bit confusing. Journalistic in general is very, very tricky when it comes to things like this. So, just quickly going over the uniform again, without this mock on. Standard field grey field blouse. This is an M40 type, so no bottle green collar, little less fancy in the way of cut, but still quite a nice cut in general. Pleated pockets, etc. So within the pockets you would carry little essential items, your sword book, so basically similar to the British Army paybook in a way. Your details, etc. are in there. Maybe your cigarettes or some gloves, etc. Because these bottom pockets are quite large, bellowed pockets. Keeping up the belts, you can just see the hanger hooks, which are there to support the belt while being worn, either with or without L straps, Y straps even. Sorry, but obviously when this sort of configuration without the Y straps, they really do help in supporting, along with the red strap obviously as well. Very nice and very smart form of dress anyway, even for combat as well, because generally this is combat dress in itself, even with the awards on sometimes as well. Not always, but some do, some didn't. Wasn't always common, but it was more common than most of the things, especially with the more regalia in a way. So quickly going over what I said before about one of the items on the cap. This one, so this is the Jaeger, not Gebelgli, but Jaeger oak leaves. So the more Austrian style. The eagle on the right breast, right side of the breast, and this is it's beveled. I think that's the one. So beveled ones to stitch on the. There are different types. I believe this one is beveled. I can't remember off the top of my head. It has been a while. Going across them there, we have 2 ribbons. Now, customary was, especially with the Iron Cross and other awards of that nature, the Iron Cross second class wasn't really worn in its metal form unless on certain occasions I'm aware. But generally you would wear the ribbon. So let me just straighten this out. You wear the ribbon within the second buttonhole down across, and normally cut to about 6 inches, so it'd be fed through the buttonhole, looped round and looped diagonally across the breast there. And any lower medals such as the one below, which is the Eastern Front medal. Let's get the exact thing. Yeah, so Russian or Eastern Front medal awarded for the winter of 41-42. More commonly known by the guys as the Frozen Meat Order medal, because that winter was horrible for the troops who had to go through it. So the Iron Cross second class is placed over because it is senior to the Russian Front medal. Across from there is the let's get the so this is the close combat clasp in bronze. There was silver and then there was gold above this. This is the bronze version of the close combat clasp. Obviously, it basically says what it was for. Below there, so this is just placed above the breast pocket, the left-hand breast pocket. Below there, so just a good thing. Different awards can be at different sides. They're different positions. There's the whole thing. I can't really go into because I don't really have. I'm mostly going off photographs. So with what I've set up here, and that's what I'm going on. If I have got anything wrong, please let me know, because I probably have. So going below there, we have the Iron Cross First Class. So this one is worn in its main form, on the breast pocket on the left-hand side. It could be worn in this fashion, or it could be worn around the neck, I believe, or to that nature, I believe, and then you have the one above that, which is Iron Cross with Iron Knight's Cross, I believe, and then Knight's Cross with swords and oak leaves, and there's a whole range of stage medals that goes up and up and up. But yeah, there's the Iron Cross there. Just to the lower right of that is the let me get the thing. This is the Infantry Assault badge in silver. There was bronze as well. I don't believe there was gold. I don't think there was, but it's the Infantry Assault badge in silver, and that's just placed here. obviously for certain actions. I believe it was a number of actions within a certain period, as far as I remember. How it sort of goes. The same thing with the close combat clasp as well. There's different levels in which you achieve certain awards, etc. Obviously, things like that. So yeah, so that's those. Let's just see if I've missed anything else. Oh yeah, I'll quickly spin it around just the side here actually. Sorry for the sort of sort of hodgepodge of things I don't know. Yeah, so on the right arm is the Edelweiss, which was the main signifier within the uniform itself, apart from maybe on the Bergmuts, of this being a Gebirgsjäger. So this is on embroidered onto a bottle green background of the Edelweiss within sort of a rope enclosure. Yeah, very very nice uniform in itself. Very well tailored. Well, depending on sort of generally they work, but generally with officers etc. You would have a tailored version of this. You've seen films. German officers are always wearing the sort of smart sort of gabardine style tunics and trousers and that. They would not wear them into combat at all, because that was smart wear. You would pay for those, a lot of money for those, and you would not be wearing that into combat. Generally you would have a standard infantryman's or other ranks tunic or a uniform in general, and then you'd have send it off to a tailor and get it tailor made to you, so it would be more smarter in that sort of way, and then that's what you would wear in combat. So yeah, thank you very very much for watching. I really hope you've enjoyed, and I hope you found it informative in a way. Again, this is not meant to be a what's the word? The end all sort of things on this at all. I do not have a wealth of knowledge really, especially on the German stuff. I'm going off what I've learnt bits and bobs over the years, and what people have helped me with, and obviously there's things to improve. Generally, I can do with what I'm limited to with wiser budget and location, and obviously with the lockdown, etc. But yeah, please let me know if anything. Actually, oh, stop them there quickly. Just quickly going in, I forgot about the helmet. Just remembered. So this is I believe it's an M40. I think. I can't remember. Might be an M30. Might be an M36. I can't really remember. It's not got the flared edges. It's got more rounded. So it might be an M36. I don't know. Correct me if I'm wrong. This specific one is actually Luftwaffe decaled, but with the splinter cover over, it covers all that up. There's a pair of German dust goggles on there at the moment as well, and generally this obviously generally will be carried by all infantrymen, etc. So that's just the helmet. There's the liner inside. It's a leather liner with a rope attached, and there's a sort of like a basket style rim to the liner itself, which goes around, and then that's has split pins to hold it onto the helmet itself. So yeah, that's that. There were different types. There was the M36, there was the M40, I believe, and the M42, and then there was later versions as well. Sorry to cut in there when I was doing the outro, but yeah, I literally just completely forgot about that. But yeah, that's that in its entirety. People may say, "Oh, where's the bayonet and that and this?" Generally, if he's got an MP40, he would not be using a bayonet. On parade, maybe it's sort of used as like a sidearm in a way, but generally you wouldn't be carrying one. Apart from that, I hope you've enjoyed. I really do. Sorry it's been all over the place. I did do a script for this, if you can believe that. And I hope you enjoyed. Please like, comment, subscribe. Any details, etc., for where I've got certain things, I'll leave down in the description below. Anything you want to put in the comments as like advice and tips and that, please let me know. I'm more than willing. So it'll be more than helpful, I mean. So thank you very much, and goodbye. So I hope you enjoyed that. Obviously I did a little bit of an ending at the end of sort of the previous cut, but this is just sort of the wrap up really. I hope you enjoyed. Again, what I said at the start, this is supposed to be a comparison, but Tenantry wasn't. But hopefully in the future, when I get some better items, etc., I'll be able to do a more in-depth, proper comparison between regular army units and then regular British units as well. Well, army units of the British and the Germans as well. Obviously, this was showing a kit of say Gebirgsjäger within say Normandy. So it wasn't really sort of a site. It wasn't really sort of worked out. It wasn't really a side by side one because they wouldn't exactly equal in the way of sort of standard kit. But it was a nice sort of comparison in that sort of sense of the term. So, but yeah. So really hope you enjoyed. Thank you and goodbye.